Keep the Bible on cop. The Most High is my rock.
TK.
Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutting. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop?
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Welcome to another live class. We're here at 8524 Branchville Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 9, Friday 6 to 8, Saturday from 10 to 2. That's here in Houston. We have a school in Virginia at 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23517. They're there every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 7 to 9. We're also in San Antonio at 4444 Walsham Road, Suite 201, San Antonio, Texas. They're there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7 to 10. Saturday from 10 to 2. All right, if you're local in those areas, feel free to join us for class. Feel free to join us for class. Okay, we have Mashaba, who does the Blog Talk Radio. As y'all saw, he was here Saturday, so he's going to be here with us Saturdays and Wednesdays. Okay, so that's why we're not really saying anything about Albuquerque. He's going to be here teaching Saturdays and Wednesdays. He'll still do his blog talk, so you can catch that Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9:30 to about 12. All right. We got a few different new YouTube channels. So look out for, we got another one where we're doing our news show. It's called Israelite Media Corp. Israelite Media Corp. Look out for that. Look out for, it's already up, the Hidden Truth Bible Show channel. That's where we put our cable shows. We're starting back to 5 Minutes of Wisdom. Excuse me. And obviously the channels for class, make sure you like, share, subscribe to all the channels. Let's get the word out. Let's keep getting the word out. We're on Facebook. Shalom to everybody on Facebook. We got kids classes every Saturday at about 2:30. So if you want your kids to learn on a kid level, you can bring them through on the Shabbat. And the sister puts together good classes for the kids 12 and under. Okay, so we're trying to do a little bit of everything for everybody. We got some upcoming feast days. We got Purim on the 6th and 7th of March. We got April. We have Passover. If you haven't gotten it in yet and you want a Passover garment, please, if you go to the description of the YouTube, there's a RSVP for the Passover reservations, and then there's also a sign-up sheet for garments. Okay? So make sure you put, as you see the sheet, you'll see what to put in there for a garment. And then I sent out on the chat the prices for the different, according to the brothers' ranks, the different prices for their garment. Okay, so all that information's out there. We're just waiting on the money so we can get started. We gotta get started. We gotta get started. We gotta get started. We gotta get started. We're gonna have a month. So we gotta get the money in for the garments. Okay? What am I forgetting? If you like to give anything towards the lamb or towards the Passover, you can do so. Again, we have people that you guys send donations through the YouTube chat. It'd be better if you sent it through Google Wallet or through the school account, because YouTube, just like the money-making savages that they are, they take a part of the money that you give. Okay, so send it through Google Wallet. She'll have that up there, or you can send it through the school account. That way we can get that. That's if you want to give whatever you want to give towards the lamb, the location. If you just want to do alms, but if you're going to send it through the chat, they take a percentage. They got to get their cut. You know how Esau does it. They got to get their cut. Okay, so anything you want to mail to the schools, any books, pens, papers. The brother Lewis, he brought through some apocryphers the other Saturday. So, we got another brother brought 2 boxes of Bibles, right? It was like 80 Bibles. How many Bibles was that?
Between 72 and 80.
Yeah, it was like 80 Bibles. They weren't expensive. It's like $1 a Bible, right? Something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but they're good because now we can give Bibles to people that need them. So again, whatever you want to give, you can mail it, you drop it off, and we can do it like that. I think I hit everything, right? Everything that I think. Purim, Passover. Oh yeah, can't forget that. SweetAmbiance.com if you'd like to help out that way. We got a website. We do our fragrances, our soaps, our body butters, our oils. So go ahead and you can check that out. Check out the website. Sign up for the subscription box. It helps out. It's for the school. It's for the school. So if you'd like to help out that way, you can do so. SweetAmbiance.com. All the things that I'm saying, they're in the description of the YouTube. So I don't want to be long-winded. What we'll do is 7:20. We're going to let Pre-Shabbat get into his class. All right? So that's going to be it for the announcements.
All right, so what we're going to be getting into today, a lot of people, they know about, y'all heard about when you were in church, when you were going to Sunday school, and you heard about, everyone knows about Jonah in the well. He was in the belly of the whale, and he was supposed to be doing something that the Most High wanted him to do, and he went the wrong way, but he was in the belly of the whale. But Jonah was supposed to go preach to Nineveh. Now, how much do y'all know about Nineveh?
Not Nivea, the lotion, right?
Not Nivea. Not Nivea, the
Not the lotion. Not Nineveh, the people.
Exactly.
Right. Y'all know anything about Nineveh? Who they were, where it was, when it was? Okay, good. So we'll go through it.
So, that's the goal of the class. To inform y'all on who Nineveh was and why the Most High was sending Jonah to go preach to them, and the whole result of what happened with them. It started off, let's find out who they are. How did the city of Nineveh start? Let's do this. Give me Genesis chapter 10 and verse 22.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 22.
Go ahead.
The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Haran.
Okay, so we're going to go into Ashur. Ashur And as we see, he's of the lineage of Shem. Jump up to verse 10.
Verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar.
Okay, in the land of Shinar. Read.
Out of that land went forth Ashur.
Okay, so we're getting that Ashur came out of Shinar. And then what did Ashur do?
And builded Nineveh.
Okay, so Ashur, he's the one that started the city of Nineveh.
Right, so what you're going over right now is what he's bringing y'all through. We're giving you an overview of the city, who they were, how it started. We're going to go into when, right? So it's a who, what, where, when, why. When you're first exploring a different, these different nations or whatever the case may be, you want to know these key things: who they were, when were they reigning, why did the Most High do certain things concerning them. Like, you got to ask yourself, why would the Most High send Jonah to Nineveh? Right? Is the scriptures ever talk about Nineveh as being like the holy place?
La.
Does the scriptures ever talk about like salvation coming through Nineveh?
La.
Right. But it's important to know why. What was the Most High? Why did he send them? Right? So it's these questions that, when we read Jonah, like he said, you go to church, they tell you about Jonah. Like, he was supposed to go do a job, he didn't do it. They don't tell you why, what job he was going to go do. They always try to, they never read that story right anyway.
No.
They water it down. They try to curve it out and make it seem like, yeah, he just, he was just avoiding the Most High and avoiding a job. Yeah, he didn't go do what he wanted, what the Most High sent him to go do, but, and they went through it last week in class. They were talking about Jonah. And why he didn't go to Nineveh as instructed. In Jonah's mind, he was like, they already have prophets that went. What am I going to go for? They ain't going to hear me. But what was it that they were supposed to hear? These are the questions that you want to ask yourself. What is it that they were supposed to hear? Why did the Most High want to send one of his prophets? Because Jonah was a prophet, right? There was actually 3 prophets that dealt with this city. As we go through the class, we'll show you, but it's like, what 3 prophets dealt with this city? Why? Why did the Most High take this much care for this city? It first starts out with who they were, who they are.
The water. So, just get a little more info on Nineveh. I'm gonna read this. Nineveh. Oh, where were you at? Did you finish up?
Yeah, you gotta finish that.
Oh, go ahead and finish where you're at.
You had your hand up.
Asher was a Shemite, right?
Right, that's what we just read.
He's Shemitic.
Right, he's Shemitic. Genesis 10:22, right? Right. So they were the children of Shem. Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. Right, so these are the children of Shem. Remember, the East Indians, they're Shemitic. The Arabics over there, they're Shemitic. Then you got a few other, obviously Ishmael, they're Shemitic. All right, Esau, Shemitic. Right. All right, go ahead.
Where you at, brother?
Second precept on verse 11.
Go ahead.
It says, and the city Rehoboth and Calah, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city.
Okay, so Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire, and this was around from 705 BC to 612 BCE.
So y'all get that, right? So Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire. Now, what was key about the Assyrian Empire? What happened in 722 BC?
That's when the northern 10 tribes were sent into diaspora, through the Assyrian Empire?
Right, we're not just spoiled, we were set into captivity.
Oh, captivity.
Right, we were captives to the Assyrian Empire. Yeah, that was one of our first captivities. Not the first, but one of the first and major. Right, we were captive to the Assyrian Empire. All right, so when this kingdom split, Rehoboam, Jeroboam, right, all these things start to transpire between northern and southern kingdom. Or let me backtrack a little bit. Solomon, right? He went off. The prophecy was that the kingdom was going to split between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. So that set a domino effect of all these different things to happen. One of them was that we would be captives to the Assyrian Empire. So now we're bringing into the picture Nineveh. Did anybody know that Nineveh was the capital city of the Assyrians?
La.
Right. You see that? Very important. Very important. Now, as we go through, we're going to get some characteristics of the Assyrian Empire. This empire, how do they operate? Like how you went through with Tyre and Zidon?
Yeah, Tyre and Sidon.
And the king of Haran, or King Haran, and their different things that they were doing and what they were known for. The trade, right? The merchants.
Yep.
A lot of people didn't know that. We're going to go through and show y'all what was Nineveh about. What was Nineveh about? Right? So go ahead.
Kind of, and even on that, it's a lot with these classes. Like I was talking to Thawam earlier today, and I was telling them when I first came into the truth, I never really grasped why the Most High didn't like Esau so much. But then actually going through the history, I'm like, oh, whoa, it makes perfect sense. That's why the Most High don't like Esau. Oh, because he's still doing it today. And then just like with all the other nations, the reason why the Most High is not dealing with them, it's like, what do they do? And what are they still doing for the reason why the Most High don't like them? Why he's not dealing with them? Why he doesn't want us to deal with them that way? So just these, we hit the bigger things, but these are the small. Like Nineveh is one of the smaller things that kind of fall through the cracks, and people just kind of go over like, oh yeah, Nineveh. But it's not hit on how it was the capital city of the Assyrian Empire. It's just like when you send an ambassador to another country, that ambassador represents the country. Nineveh represents how the Assyrian Empire ran things and did things, but they were a more concentrated focus of how they did things. So I'm gonna read this here, and for y'all online and for y'all in here, if you're wondering where I'm reading from, I did a lot of research online and some information that I compiled from different websites. I went through several different websites, make sure everything matched up, went through several references to make sure that they coincide.
And most importantly, that it matched the scriptures.
Exactly.
Because that's what we're going to do. We're just going to read a little bit, but then we're going to go into the Bible to show you what these scholars say, but what the scriptures say too.
So, among the cities of the ancient world in the days of divided Israel, one of the greatest was Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian realm, founded on the fertile banks of the Tigris, soon after the dispensation from the Tower of Babel.
Right, so that fertile bank or that fertile crescent, the Tigris, the Euphrates, that little area, that was our land, or supposed to be our land, right? But you see through, as we read through the Genesis and we go through the wilderness and all the disobedience and all the not listening to the Most High, we didn't get the land. So all these other nations, they dwelt, first of all, in our land, and then they took us captive. It's like, y'all don't want to get the land, I'm going to put you captive in your own land. Right? When you look at Babylon, that was our land. When you look at Egypt, that was our land. When you look at Ethiopia, that was our land. When you look at when you go over to where the Midianites and all that stuff, that was our land. That whole area was our land, but that's where we were taken captive.
Done.
Until now, in this captivity, we've been brought to a whole different land. So y'all see do y'all see the humor? Is it the humor of the Most High or the
Irony.
The irony? That's the word. The irony of the Most High is, well, you don't want to take the land. I'm going to take you to the land as a slave, and somebody else is going to live there. But the scriptures even say that bastards would dwell in our land, right? Strangers would dwell in our tents.
Done.
You see that? So, go ahead.
All right, so I'm finished reading here. It had flourished through the centuries until it had became an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey. And you can read that in Jonah chapter 3, verse 2, I believe. But I'm going to continue on. It just said Nineveh, it grew to be a large city. When it says 3 days' journey, that 3 days' journey is like, it would take a 3 days' journey to get through the city. Not getting to the city, but get through the city.
Wow. That's how vast it was.
Yeah, it was a large city.
Wow.
Nineveh had long been an enemy of Judah and Israel, the people of the Most High. In 722 BC, the Assyrians defeated the northern kingdom of Israel, destroying its capital, Syria. In 701 BC, the Assyrians nearly conquered Jerusalem, the capital of Judah.
Right, so they were going in for Israel and Judah.
Mm-hmm.
They got Israel. They got the 9.5.
It was
right?
way down.
Because the 9.5, they were really into. Not that we all weren't into it, but the 9.5 was heavy into that ideology. Heavy into the. I'm saying it right? Ideology?
Idolatry.
Idolatry. Gosh. They were heavy into that idolatry. And the Most High wasn't rocking with that. He wasn't going to defend that. So when it was time, he let them come in and destroy the city and take us captive. You see that? 722 BC. And we go over that a lot with the kingdom split, Rehoboam, Jeroboam. We go over that with the kingdom splitting. But you see here now, you're dealing with Nineveh, it brings it all back into perspective. Now think about it. Nineveh is, what book of the Bible is Nineveh? Or not Nineveh, Jonah. It's where are we at? Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Jonah is out there, man. Jonah is like the 20th book, something like that. But just to show you that the Bible is not in chronological order. Jonah was dealing in a time of these Old Testament kings. I believe it was King Josiah. You see that? In 790, 780 is when Jonah popped on the scene. So you got to see that the Bible is not in chronological order, but you kind of got to get I have a map at a chronological map of the prophets, the kings that were reigning, major prophets, minor prophets. You get to see, wait a minute, he was around at this time. He was around at the time of Isaiah. He was around at this time, King Uzziah. It all goes, it's not a long time period. It's not thousands and thousands of years in between. It's more like 100 years between these different prophets and different men that were in these different, these same places. Right? Where do you want to go now?
So we got a little backstory on the city of Nineveh being a part of the Assyrian Empire.
Is the heat on?
Being a part of the Assyrian Empire, but what were they doing in Nineveh, and why did Jonah have to be sent, or why were any prophets prophesying against Nineveh? So from there, we're going to go to Jonah chapter 1 and verse 1.
Jonah chapter 1 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now the word of the Most High came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for the wickedness has come up before me.
Okay, so their wickedness had reached a level that the Most High is like, you know what? I'm done with this. The stench of Nineveh, of their wickedness, had crept into my nose. Now it's time to do something about it. Much like when it said that the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah, the Most High was like, oh, you know what? I've had it up to here with Sodom and Gomorrah.
Even like this nation, right? Go to Revelations 18 and verse 4 real quick. Even like this nation, because what we're going to show you is the parallels. There's a parallel theme between Nineveh, between Babylon, between Egypt, between Sodom, Gomorrah, and modern day Babylon. And it's all the same. Read that, Revelations 18 and 4.
Revelations chapter 18 verse 4.
Go ahead.
And I heard another voice from heaven, saying, come out of her, my people,
Go ahead.
that ye be not partakers of her sin.
Right. The whole point was that Jonah was to go preach to Israelites, to the Most High's people, because we were there.
Come.
It wasn't to go preach to Asher.
Wow.
They weren't the chosen. So let's get that straight. So what does that sound like? Well, that sounds like Paul being sent to all these different Edomite nations, right? Rome and Tarshish and all these different places to do what? To provoke his people to emulation. Provoke his people to jealousy and wake them up. So he said, come out of her, my people, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Read.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
Right, go ahead.
And that ye receive not of her plague.
Go ahead.
For her sins have reached unto heaven.
You see that? For the sins have reached unto heaven. Just like in Nineveh, the Most High said, okay, I've seen too much. Just like in Egypt. What did he say? He said, I've heard my people in Egypt. The cry of my people. He heard it. Right? All that oppression. The same way he heard us in Babylon. He sent Isaiah. He sent Jeremiah. He sent them to go deal with the people. The Israelite people, not the Babylonians. They wasn't going to serve the Most High. You might get one or two sprinkled in, but the whole point was to wake up, like Paul said, my flesh, kinsmen according to the flesh. So you see how from Old Testament to New, there was not a new theme. What Paul was doing wasn't something new. What Paul was doing wasn't something new, like, oh, I'm sending Paul on a whole different mission to go deal with the Gentiles. Because at some point, what started happening to us in Assyria? Huh?
We was getting lost in their customs.
We're gonna show you.
Yep.
We were getting lost in their custom. We were getting lost in their abominations. We were getting lost in their filth. Think about it. If you're under constraint to another people, what is the popular saying that we use?
When in Rome, do as Rome.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So when in Nineveh, do as the Ninevites, the Ninevites do. When in Babylon, do as the Babylonians. When in America, be an American. That was the theme from 722 BC and before until now. That's been the theme for our people is we're going to be captive to other nations and do as they do. But like Daniel, dealing with Nebuchadnezzar, did Daniel eat of the king's table? No, right? He went on his own fast. Right? Did the woman with the 7 sons in the time of the Maccabees, did they eat pork? Lie. What'd they do? They died for the law. They died. Right? See, they died for the law.
They were mutilated and died.
Right, they were mutilated and died for the law. So Jonah was sent to show the people it's okay to stand up. Moses was sent to Egypt to tell the people it's okay to stand up. Paul was sent to these different little countries and cities to show the people it's okay to stand up for Yahweh Shai.
Quick question, real quick. So was Paul Paul was a prophet then? Basically?
Yeah. Yeah. He was
I
just called an apostle.
Right.
But he was a prophet. He was a teacher. Yeah. He went and he prophesied. He went and he taught. That's all a prophet is, a teacher. He went and taught. And what was he teaching? He was teaching past, present, and future.
God.
That's all he was doing. Just like all the other men of the scriptures. Just like Jonah was supposed to go do. Right? So read that one more time. That's in our Revelations. Read Jonah chapter 1 verse 2.
Jonah chapter 1 verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city,
Right?
and cry against it.
Right?
For the wickedness is come up before me.
And what was so great about Nineveh? Well, really nothing. When it was talking about how great they were, it was going into the wickedness that they perpetuated. Right? It was talking about the filth of this kingdom. They weren't great. Oh, they built great temples for the Most High, and they built great statues and cities like Solomon and David.
Oh yeah.
They were known. This city was known for its filth, for its wickedness. Watch, bring some of that out. Bring out that sword. What we got?
Look, so the Assyrians were notorious for amplifying hands.
Right. Amputating.
Amputating. That's what I meant to say. Amputating hands.
But they amplified hands?
Right,
So
made them bigger.
Right.
No, amputating hands.
Right. So they amputated your hands. What else?
And feet, gouging eyes, and skinning and impaling their captives.
So this is what was going on with our people. When you get a chance, look up on their Ninevite relief. Right? That's what it's called, right? The reliefs.
The relief.
Yeah, right. A relief. What it is it's a stone engravement, and this would depict all the things that they were doing to the people.
Dang.
Yeah, look up the ones for Nineveh. Yeah, you got different ones for different Babylonian Empire, Assyrian Empire, this empire, that empire. You had it, but what these things did, they had them lined on their walls of their cities, of all the things they were doing to people, decapitating them, skinning them alive. So they were notorious for this.
Yeah, they told on themselves. It's almost like to have to put your history like that on the stone walls.
The writings on the
The
wall.
writings on the wall. You had to be. It's either they were proud of it, or they were just documenting their history.
But it was all that.
Yeah, it was all that.
It's no different. It's no different when America ain't impaling you with spears and gouging your eyes out. But what do? They prop you up in that jail.
Yeah.
Right? They prop you up. You're their trophy while you're in that jail. Then they send cameras through there. What's the show they do? Like on CNBC, Locked Up.
Locked Up.
All they doing is showing like, look how we got this nigga in solitary confinement going crazy.
Scared straight.
Look at Scared Straight. Like it's the same type of method. And they document it so they can go back in history and say, look at all these Negroes and Hispanics we got locked up.
Wow.
Look at how many lives we done destroyed. Look at how many people we left fatherless. And look how this place creates widows, man. And fatherless children. Just like Nineveh. Just like Babylon. Just like Egypt. These places ain't no different. But obviously we're dealing with Nineveh and the Assyrians and giving you guys a little history on that. Did you find it? Oh, see, look. Got them hanging. Now, what did that look like? What's the song? Strange fruit from the poplar trees, blood on the leaves, right?
I don't know it.
Oh, come on. You gotta know that song. Yeah, you gotta know that song. It was talking about blacks being hung from poplar trees, called a strange fruit. But look, on their walls in Assyria, look like some black men to me.
Yeah.
Look like a few Negroes to me getting hung.
God.
So look at our life. Look at Israel's history. Just being strange fruit, man.
That's crazy.
Just being hung from trees like we ain't nothing. Go ahead. Go to Nahum 3 and verse 1.
Yeah, hung from these trees and just left. You know, our bodies were just left for other Negroes to see, other Israelites to see.
And the scriptures tell you about that.
God.
They tell you you don't leave a body, you don't leave that hanging for days upon days. You're supposed to take that down by the sun.
God.
By the time the sun goes down, you take that body. You're supposed to bury that. Huh?
3 verse 1?
Nahum. Yeah, you'll go to Nahum chapter 3 and verse 1.
Right. And our bodies were also being just left in the streets.
God.
They were murderous, as we're going to go into what the scripture is going to say. They were murderous to us, and they had no regard for our life, and they had no regard for our body even after death.
Watch. Go ahead. Read.
Go ahead, read where you at.
So check this out. So we're in Nahum. So Jonah, right, comes before Nahum. He's about 150 years difference in time period. But Nahum, the whole book of Nahum is about Nineveh. Did y'all know that? The whole book is 3 chapters, but the whole book. Watch. Go to Nahum chapter 1 and verse 1.
God.
Nahum, chapter 1, verse 1.
Go ahead.
The burden of Nineveh.
The what?
The burden of Nineveh.
Now you guys understand why I named the class the burden of Nineveh. Or Nineveh. The burden of Nineveh. I keep saying the lotion. The country. Nineveh. Right? The burden of Nineveh. This was Nahum prophesying against this country. Now Jonah had already came and prophesied and said, listen, boom, boom, and they cleaned up their act. But then they didn't. They went wrong after a time.
God.
Go ahead. So it says the burden of Nineveh. Go ahead.
The book of the vision of Nahum.
Right.
The Elkoshites.
Right. Now jump to Nahum 3 and verse 1.
Nahum chapter 3 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Woe to the bloody city.
He said what?
Woe to the bloody city.
He said what?
Woe to the bloody city.
Now we pull this scripture a lot to describe what country? America. Right?
America.
If I'm prophesying the destruction of America, I'm going right here to say, woe to the bloody city. Why?
They mirror each other.
Because what?
They mirror each other.
They are each other. But yeah, they mirror. But it's a close similarity between Assyria and the way they dealt with Israel and America. How they deal with Israel. It says, woe to the bloody city. Now, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if I'm not jumping too much, that.
Well, it's your class. You know what it's your
Yeah, I know. All these different captivities that we've been in, and all the different things that all these different nations have done to us, it's like when you're at the end of the book and you're at the climax of the book. Everything is happening at once. This is the peak, and that's what America is. All the things that everybody else has done to us, it's all right here. And guess what? All the different nations and all the different people are also right here too. You ever think about that? Con. It's right here, so it's all happening and going down.
Are you saying so Nineveh was like a melting pot?
No, I'm not saying Nineveh was a melting pot, but I'm using a parallel of saying how all the different nations did things to us. It's all happening right here in America. All the things that's happened to us over the centuries.
Yeah, and you asked who the Assyrians today. It's a mixture of these Middle Eastern people that's over there in that region. They're still in that Middle Eastern region, and they just kind of just mixed in with Ishmael, mixed in with Elam. It's those people.
So Nahum chapter 3 verse 1.
Nahum chapter 3 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery.
Right? It's all full of what?
Lies and robbery.
Now, who are they robbing? And who are they lying to?
The Israelites.
They're captives. They ain't lying to each other. Esau ain't lying to Esau. At this time, the Assyrians weren't lying to the Assyrians. They were lying to their captives. Right? It was again, remember, why did the Most High send Jonah? Why did the Most High have Nahum prophesy concerning? Because it was to get Israel to see, listen, y'all are getting lied to. Y'all are being robbed. Why do we get up every single day and teach this word to show our people? Woe to the bloody city. You niggas getting killed out here. Because they lie and they rob you. Go ahead.
The noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear.
Yeah, just like how they lift up. You want to hear the noise of the chariots? Whoop, whoop, whoop. whoop, right? They lift up that glittering sword, freeze!
Ooh.
Yep.
And you do this, hands up, don't shoot, but they still shoot anyway?
They still wet their sword.
Ooh.
You see the parallels?
Ooh.
The same things happen in Egypt. The same things happen in Babylon.
Wow.
The same things happen with all these captivities that we've been through, but America is the illumination. America is the epitome of all of our captivities. America is the epitome, man, because they found a way to mentally switch things into a mental plane where we want to be here. Where we actually want to be here. You got our people that struggle. One of their stumbling blocks is, do I give up on America or do I follow the Bible? That's one of the stumbling blocks for Americans. Let me rephrase that. For Israelites that think that they're Americans. They really struggle with, am I an American? Or am I an Israelite? Am I a Christian? Am I a faggot? Am I a man? Am I a woman? Like, you're struggling with all these things that are apparent. But think about it. They got it to the point where they don't have to, because who wants to be whipped and be captive? Nobody, right? You getting whipped, you trying to break free. Right? You getting shot down or getting killed unjustly, you trying to break free. But they found a way to mentally sway our people into still getting killed in the streets, still getting lied to, still getting robbed, but love our captor. Oh, you gonna rape me? Oh, let me get next to you even more.
Right.
Oh, you gonna steal from me? Oh, come on, love thy neighbor. Oh, I love the white man. Like, they found a way to twist it to where we want to be their friend. We got to think about it, man. Where at least in these times, we were like, man, we got to get up out of this. We was praying to the Most High. Yahweh, we was butt naked in sackcloth on our faces trying to get right after all the whooping. We've been whipped in this country, man, for 400 plus years. And we still like, nope, proud to be American. Proud to be American. Proud to, you ain't even from the South. I'm talking about proud to be American. You proud to be part of this country because they've done a mental job on our people. Where they have us feeling like we need them. Where they have us feeling like if it's not coming from them, then it's not worth anything. If it's not coming from the white man, it ain't worth it. If it ain't coming from the Chinese, it ain't worth it. When it comes from the Chinese, it's coming with damn coronavirus. Alright, because they coughing on stuff over there and shipping it. When it comes from these other countries, it's coming with diseases, man.
That's what.
Our people got to wake up and see that it ain't about these nations. It's about us and the Most High. Right? Read on.
And there is a multitude of slain.
There's a what?
A multitude of slain.
A little bit of slain.
A multitude of slain.
Just go through the numbers, man. Look how many blacks, Hispanics, and natives. Forget about police shootings. I'll get to you. Forget about police shootings. Let's talk about police shootings, plus abortions, plus dead in jail, plus dead on the streets, plus dead from hunger, plus dead from abuse. Let's add plus dead from mental disease, from mental abuse.
Experimental drugs on
Experimental drugs, dead from the military. Let's talk about it. That's that multitude of slain, where our people are caught up in things they shouldn't be caught up in. You shouldn't be in the abortion clinic. You shouldn't be in their military. You shouldn't be in them streets either. You shouldn't give them the opportunity to shoot you down like a dog. But why do they get that opportunity? Because you think that America is your friend. You think that America likes you. You think because you can look and sound like them, or go work where they work, or go, now you can drink from the same water fountain, watch, sit in the movie theater front row. Well, the movie theater, you want back row or middle, right? Because those are the best seats, right? You think because you can get the best seats in the theater that, oh, we good now. They'll put a bullet in your ass so fast, just like they did in Nineveh, right? Nineveh. Go ahead.
And a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon the corpses.
So the corpses, there's so many corpses. Am I saying that right?
Corpses, yeah.
Corpses.
You got word problems today.
Like I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying it with the accent.
Corpses.
Corpses. that it said they're stumbling over it. There's so many dead bodies all over the place. Imagine just walking outside right now and you always see a dead body.
Like Mike Brown's body just sitting still in the street.
Right.
Trayvon Martin just still sitting on that grass. What's old girl that Sandra Bland? Her body just laying next to the car or in the precinct or wherever they killed her at. Imagine just the bodies just piling up because the care to say, you know what, let's get rid of these bodies and bury them, that wasn't there. Before we jump to that point, let's just finish up real quick because we're gonna jump to that point, right?
Yes, sir.
Finish up verse 4 real quick. Check this out.
Because of the multitude of the whoredoms.
Because of the what?
The multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot.
Right.
The mistress of witchcraft.
The what?
The mistress of witchcraft.
Ooh, you see how it's depicting this country, this nation? This is one capital city. It said the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. Don't it talk about Babylon being the hoe of hoes? Right? Don't it talk about Babylon being the hoes of hoes?
She was the chosen.
She was the chosen hoe, right? She was the bottom trick, right? That's what it talks about Babylon being. Go ahead, read on.
The mistress of witchcraft.
The what?
The mistress of witchcraft.
Ain't America the mistress of witchcraft?
God.
Where you can chop off Dwayne Wade's little boy's penis and make him Zaza? He can go from Zion. What was his name? His name was Zion. He can go from Zion to Zaza. That's witchcraft, man. To turn a boy into a girl? And that is even more witchcraft when people accept. I guarantee you this. I bet you they give Dwayne Wade People's Man of the Year.
Oh yeah, some kind of trophy or
he's gonna be on that
honor.
He's gonna be on the cover of that People magazine, Man of the Year, for chopping off his son's penis.
And still loving him.
For chopping off his son's penis and parading him around TV and acting like it's okay. That's witchcraft, man.
That takes courage.
Yeah.
You know, it takes courage.
No, it takes Satan. It takes Satan for you to do that. Isaiah, you had your hand up and then sis.